Conference is being held to provide preliminary information regarding the fatal officer-involved shooting that occurred on January 2nd, 2020. This information is the best information available at this time. Please remember that this investigation is ongoing and preliminary information is subject to change. However, in keeping with our goal of transparency, it is important for us to share this information with the public. On January 2nd, 2020, at 7:35 p.m., Ansonia police received a walk-in complaint from a female who reported that her boyfriend, who had become physically aggressive, was at the residence in violation of a full no-contact protective order. Officers went to 81 Myrtle Avenue to speak to the male and to take him into custody for violation of a protective order. The protective order was issued on November 18, 2019, following a November 16 domestic violence arrest with the same female at the same residence. During the course of the investigation, officers entered the house and were confronted by the unwanted male brandishing a knife. Officers attempted to verbally de-escalate the situation, and the male retreated further into the house. The officers continued to try to get the male to comply with orders to drop the knife. The male refused to drop the knife, and officers deployed a taser, which had no effect as the male advanced toward them. The male then ran toward officers with the knife in hand. Officers made every attempt to create distance between themselves and the unwanted male. An officer on scene then discharged at least one round from his firearm, striking the male. Officers were then able to disarm the male, render immediate medical assistance, and the Ansonia Rescue and Medical Services transported the male to Griffin Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. The Connecticut State Police and the Danbury State's Attorney's Office, Attorney Stephen Sedensky, were called to investigate the shooting, and the case has been turned over to Connecticut State Police Western District Major Crime Squad. Fortunately, Ansonia police officers are equipped with body-worn cameras. The videos have been supplied to the Connecticut State Police and will be released as soon as possible. All further press releases and requests for information will be handled by the Connecticut State Police. We trust that this shooting will be properly investigated, and we will wait for a finding from the state's attorney's office. Thank you.
Just to clarify, there was one officer who fired the shot?
At this time, I'm not going to reveal those details. That's part of the investigation, but at least one round was fired at the residence.
And there were two police officers there?
There were three.
Great, okay.
What is the status of the officers?
They are on administrative leave at this time. They've been offered services through behavioral health consultants for their wellness to make sure that they're taken care of, as this is normal procedure for any officer-involved shooting for people to go, officers to be placed on administrative leave while the investigation is completed.
Are you guys doing any internal investigation alongside the investigation by the state police?
There will be at some point. It has not begun yet, but at some point that will begin, yes.
Were they all officers? Were there any supervisors on scene?
I'm not prepared to answer that at this time. We will be releasing more information probably later tonight or tomorrow with that information.
You can't say specifically how many rounds were fired, just at least one?
At least one, yes.
This is a first floor apartment?
I believe so. I don't recall myself. I believe it's a first floor apartment, yes.
Do you have any indication of, call comes in at about 7:30, you said? How long were police on scene before they shot the man?
I don't have an exact time. That's part of the investigation. We'll make that determination and provide that as part of our further releases.
And Chief, this is a residence you've been called to before?
Prior to this, yes. November 16th, there was a domestic violence case there where an arrest was made, and the male became the subject of a protective order on November 18th, 2019 at Derby Court, yes.
And the same individual was the one shot?
Same male and involving the same female also, yes, correct.
Was he facing criminal charges in connection to that earlier call? Or was
He had been arrested and a protective order was issued. I don't know what the charges are off the top of my head right now, but he had been arrested, yes.
What's his relation to the female, the man, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend?
At this time, we're trying to establish that, exactly what their relationship was.
And are you releasing his name at this point?
Not at this point. Again, we expect to be able to have that information later today or tomorrow, hopefully.
How much later did he end up dying?
I don't have an exact time. We were given information about 8:30 p.m.
And so did he pass away there or in the hospital?
He was brought to the hospital. I don't know exact details, but he was pronounced at Griffin Hospital.
tell you why he had come back to the house despite the protective order?
I don't know that information. I don't know exactly what she told the original officers on scene at this point.
You said it was a walk-in complaint. Did she come to the police department to make a complaint?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Did she return back home, or did she stay?
She was at the police department, and then we spoke to her involving this investigation. So she had stayed there.
Was anybody else in the residence at the time?
I do not believe so. He was the only person there when our officers arrived.
And did he, I know there was a protective order, but was that his residence at one point, or?
I don't know the answer to that at this moment. That's part of the investigation to determine exactly. But it was a no contact order, so regardless of where the residence was, if the protected party is there, they're not allowed to have contact with that victim.
Did they have to force entry the officers into the home?
At some point, they had to go get in through the door, yes.
Do you know what type of knife it was? Was it a large knife? Was it a machete-type knife?
I don't know at this point.
Was there ever a time that this affected the neighbors at all? Like they were told to stay in their houses or anything?
This was an isolated incident related directly to this address. When officers were there, that's one of their first concerns. As other officers get on scene and we secure it, we make sure that no neighbors are in danger. We do not believe that that's the case at this point. This is an isolated domestic incident at this residence.
Now, you had two isolated domestic incidents that resulted in deaths on Myrtle Avenue. Was there any plans to increase police presence on Myrtle Avenue or do anything on Myrtle Avenue?
These are results of complaints that we received, Mike. We will continue to address areas of concern in the city as they come up for us.
Chief, we've seen a number of domestic violence-related incidents here and across Connecticut in the past year. What is your message to people involved in these potentially volatile, dangerous relationships and situations?
Well, that's your exact point, is they're volatile domestic situations that can spiral out of control quickly. The best we can do is we can offer our services. We have people that can help anybody that's involved in a domestic situation where they're fearful or afraid. We can get them services. We can get them into shelters and do that. But the first step is getting to us, letting us know. And that's usually the most difficult step for most. We've learned over the years, that's the most frightening step for most victims, is making that notification to the police to get help. But we do have multiple services right in town, right next to City Hall. We have BH Care and Umbrella Services that are domestic violence services right in town, and we work very, very closely with them.
Is there a chance, Chief, that you would canvass the neighborhood and offer those that live on Myrtle Avenue a chance for mental health services? This is two incidents, as Mike had mentioned.
I don't know that we as a police department have that ability to offer that, but we would obviously put people in touch. If they thought that they needed something, we could find them services as needed. We would be able to assist.
How about in terms of just the perception that some might have at Ansonia that crime is on the increase in terms of stats? Do you see any patterns that are new in the last year or so?
I would be reaching at this point. Nothing sticks out at this point that there's any patterns per se. We've had some significant cases over the course of the year, which is not unusual for Ansonia, but to compare them, I don't have that information to compare this year or 2019 versus 2018 at my fingertips right now to answer that. We believe Ansonia is a very safe community. So far, these particular incidents, they have been isolated and directly related to a small area in each instance, but we continue to be vigilant and do our best to protect the citizens of Ansonia.
Chief, would it be okay to ask for the mayor to comment on, not particularly the investigation, but just the overall health of the community, if you will?
That would be fine. Like I said, from this point forward, any press will be coming from the Connecticut State Police. They now have the investigation, so we'll be taking a background role in providing them information for theirs. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Good morning, everyone. I want to assure the residents of Ansonia we are a safe community. this community is probably safer than any of the surrounding communities, if not in the state of Connecticut. We have a wonderful police department. As the chief alluded to, this is an isolated incident that occurred. I know there was an isolated incident also that happened a month ago, but these are isolated incidents. There is no pattern to this, and we are a very safe community, and I assure everybody from this great city that this is just an isolated issue.
Chief, have you received, Mayor, have you received a lot of contacts from community members?
I've received some calls. This morning I had visitation from people in my office, and I assured them that everything is fine. You know, we are a very safe community. I'm very proud of our Ansonia Police Department. I think they do a tremendous job, and that's it.
Will you yourself be visiting the neighborhood? And
Absolutely. This is an area that I was born and raised in. I grew up in this area of Myrtle Avenue, and I will be down there to visit the people down there. In fact, a few of the residents came in to visit me today.
Okay, folks, we're going to wrap it up.
Was there any indication that this was like a suicide by cop scenario, or is it too early to say?
That was too early to say. I would not be the one making that determination. Again, that's part of the entire investigation. I would be speculating at this point. So.
And do you know when the last officer-involved fatal shooting was? And is this the first officer-involved shooting since Officer Jackson and Moby all on the Maple?
Yeah, well, that was not a fatal shooting. It was a shooting, officer-involved shooting. I've been here 28 years. Lieutenant Williams and Lieutenant Lynch have been 30, and I don't recall a fatal officer-involved shooting in our careers.
Chief, have you had a lot of domestic disputes on Myrtle Avenue, or were those the only 2 or 3 that you've had in recent months?
I don't have that information available to me. I mean, we investigate domestic incidences wherever we're called to. I wouldn't specify that it's Myrtle Avenue. It's wherever we're called. If there's issues, we go to.
And was there any indication that this individual was intoxicated or on drugs?
I can't answer that.
That's it, folks.
In terms of the state police investigation, what are the next steps?
We're not going to talk about the state police investigation.
Just in general, how they...
That's their investigation. They'll proceed forward with it as it is. Any further press release?
Just to make a quick comment before we end the press conference here. We'll be releasing a press release later on this evening or early tomorrow morning, sometime during the weekend, I would say, detailing the incidents that transpired yesterday. But that's all we have for you at the moment. Thank you all for coming out. And updates will be disseminated accordingly. All right?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.